So, one of the graphs that I decided to explore was a bubble chart. So, I explored it on Gapminder, which I found to be really interesting. And the cool thing about the bubble chart here is it's showing the relationship in bubble charts in general, not just two variables like you would see in a scatter plot, but between three variables where we're not only looking at life expectancy and child mortality, which I thought would be interesting to see the relationship, but also including population. So instead of in a scatter plot where we might see just regular same size dots for each thing, here we're using a bubble chart where the size of the circle or the bubble is proportional to the population size. So obviously these circles that are bigger, those are our countries with larger populations, such as China and India, and then some of these tinier ones would be some of the smaller countries, such as the Central African Republic. So the cool thing that I found about Gapminder that I really found interesting is not only do we see this chart, this bubble chart, which was new to me, which includes three variables, and the relationship between those three variables was it shows you over time the relationship. So starting in 1800 and going to 2020, what happened with that relationship between not just child mortality and life expectancy, but including population as well, and how that changed over the years. So it was really, really cool to me to see that relationship kind of and how it changed there. You can see back in 1811, there's not a ton of variability here between child mortality, or sorry, between all of the countries here and their child mortality rate and the life expectancy. And it's so interesting for me, at least, because I chose this data to see how low the life expectancy was just 200 years ago compared to what it is now. So I think it's interesting, and I thought Gapminder was really cool with this to show that progression in the relationship between these two variables over time. You can kind of see the different countries bouncing around, and the increase in variability that is growing as we go through time. And you can pause it at any time to see that. But you see how life expectancy is going up as mortality is going down, and that relationship, not in a static way like you would see in a scatter plot, but in a more dynamic way over time. And you can see how certain countries have really changed in that area to where we are now in 2020 or 2021. So it was a new graph for me. I thought it was really interesting to kind of see that beyond your typical scatter plot, which as an AP statistics teacher, we spend so much time on. But I'm thinking of using something like this in my class, perhaps after the AP exam as a final project for my students to explore beyond the typical graphs that they might see, and then exploring this, explaining what it's showing, writing a type of report based off of this, where now we can see, look at the increase in variability between child mortality and life expectancy. And then how is population size related to all of those things as well? So it was a really cool graph for me to do. It was something that was new for me, something that I hope to incorporate into my classes going forward.